What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Keepin' It EPL, back from an international break as we move on to match week numero 12. A lot, and I mean a lot, Matthew Selz, happened about 2 weeks ago, and we're at a place now where the boys are separating from the men.
Yep.
And some interesting things transcribing over the last 2 weeks for sure. We got to finally see Man United's new manager come to the stadium. That was cool during the international break. After he dismantled Man City in the Champions League. And that was fun. And we have a team that is 5 points clear on top of the table in Liverpool. This is the no team 5 points clear at this point in the season after 11 match weeks has ever not won
Correct.
the Premier League
Is
title.
it 5-0 or 6-0?
I think it's 5-0.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it's happened 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
But
there's still a lot of league left and still some questions about Liverpool, but definitely more questions about Arsenal and Man City, who we feel probably are the only teams that could possibly challenge them. But
you don't think Chelsea stands a chance?
No.
I think they're interesting.
They're interesting, but
it's weird to call them a dark horse since they've spent like $1.5 billion on transfers in 3 years. But
they still have a home and away split problem.
That's true.
And they're still meshing. It's weird. Like if they could get it together, yes, but by the time they do, it'll be February. It's like last year, and it's just So now, if they could keep the same group of people and stop buying and selling this season, then next year I think they could easily be a threat.
Yeah, that's the interesting part, right? Can they control themselves and not buy more players than Nottingham Forest?
Yeah.
Forest finally stopped buying players, and now they're settling into the squad. Now you see the results. Now they're outperforming everything, right? They're not a top 5 side. But Chelsea has actually gone with the same starting 11, I think, in 7 straight Premier League games now.
Wow. Is that a record?
It was something like that. They mentioned it at the beginning of, like, during their last Premier League game that they had gone with the same starting 11 for the last several, and things were starting to click. And
that's what they need to do. When you have so many high-profile players that you spend $1 million on or millions of dollars on your bench, and you're trying to figure out, all right, who am I going to start today? And then they're not in Europe. No, they are. They're in Europa.
Well, they are.
Right?
They're Europa Conference League.
But but you don't take that seriously. It's not like the Champions League.
They beat a team who started 7 years ago, 8-0.
Yeah. So
the last game
and probably with their bench
because Man U got the automatic bid to Europa League because they won the FA Cup last year.
Correct. Yeah. So they're not taking that seriously. So they do have a little bit more, available for the Premier League, unlike, Arsenal and Man City and Liverpool, who are in every competition still. Liverpool still has every competition. They have not been kicked out of anything yet. At the end, they're undefeated in every competition except for the Premier League, which they have the one loss, I believe. So here we are. Just a quick recap because it's 2 weeks ago. But Man City lost its 4th straight to Brighton, 2-1 at Amex. Again, Man City not scoring goals. Again,
that's never happened in Pep's career at any stop.
He's never lost 4 games in a row. That includes one Champions League game.
Almost 1,000 career games at this point.
Correct. So there is turmoil, and people. I did a post, and people are arguing with me about Man City and all this and the whole Rodri effect, and it's real. It's real, and the injury bug has hit the bad. Their bench isn't as deep as it once was due to retiring and people just the money coming in other places, so they're not as good as they have been. It's simply
they're a year older with more wear on their tires and they're thinner.
Yeah, so De Bruyne can't stay healthy for a full season anymore.
He's barely healthy right now.
Yeah, Rodri obviously he's out for the year.
Phil Foden hasn't scored.
Phil Foden has not scored. You're right. And they're just not the same team. And You could tell. Yes, you got one of the best young premier strikers in the world, who also looks like a bad guy from a Die Hard movie. I get it. And Erling Haaland. But if he's not getting fed the ball, by the way, that's all he could do, by the way. We're not talking about a striker similar to like a Luis Diaz or Mo Salah, who's going to rack up assists from the outside and then go in and score goals. We're talking about a guy who's true number 9 who needs to be fed the ball. And if you can't feed him the ball, he's not going to score goals. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now with Man City.
Yeah.
They're not feeding Erling the ball. He's not scoring goals. He's not winning aerial battles because he doesn't need to because the ball's not coming in. It's a weird formula they have going right now, and it's a weakness and it's showing. So Pep's had 2 weeks now to look back and reflect. like that meme from where the guy's sitting on the park bench and then he's sitting on the swing. That's Pep. That was Pep for 2 weeks.
Yes.
So bad loss, obviously, to Brighton. Lost 4 in a row. Arsenal, Chelsea. We just talked about Chelsea, but they had a 1-1 draw, which I think was fitting. I think we picked that in our picks. I'm pretty sure we did.
Let me double check.
Yeah. But
the only tab I don't have open.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. And then Liverpool, I thought Aston Villa would give them more of a boat race, but it turned out that Liverpool defense is just really that good. Like they're back. Their 2-tower combination of Konate and Van Dijk is the best, I think, right now, maybe in the world.
It's pretty hard to argue against.
Konate had a game. Like he was probably my star of that game. And Virgil van Dijk is up for an award every year worldwide. So that tells you how good these two guys are. And if they can stay healthy, then they can do whatever they want on the edges with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, he did leave with an injury in that game against Aston Villa early, and that would be a huge loss for them.
Correct.
But then you just bring in Tsimikas, or you put Robinson and then bring in Connor Bradley, who's been playing great lately as a youngin. And for England now, this Liverpool team is so deep that injuries don't hurt them as it does these other teams, and it's showing.
Correct.
Brentford had a wonderful game against Bournemouth, 3-2 at home. Again, one of the most exciting young teams to watch in the Premier League. And then your Spurs. Oh no. What happened there? What happened to your Spurs there? 2-1 defeat at home to Ipswich, who are in the relegation battle.
They were on the plane for the international break. It's the 3rd time this season Spurs have lost before an international break.
Is that real?
Yes.
Wow, interesting.
They have lost the game before every international break this season. So, I don't know. Injuries starting to be a concern. Center backs are a problem. I know coming into this weekend against Man City, Romero isn't going to be playing. Neither is Van de Ven. So,
if there's ever time to beat Man City, it's right now too.
Yeah, and then Bentancur is suspended for 7 games. So that's great. Thanks, FA, on that one. Why don't you worry about the refs saying terrible things? But yeah, Bentancur is suspended because he told an off-color Asian joke this offseason.
Oh boy!
On the radio back in Uruguay, there. Something to the effect of it's hard to tell Asians apart.
By the way, this loss to Ipswich wasn't like Ipswich came back and won this. Ipswich was up 2-0 at half.
Correct.
And I thought, oh, this is going to be one of those 2-0 come back from behind and win games that we've seen all year.
For 15 minutes
no, they got one in the 69th minute. Nice, but not nice enough.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't want to put it all off on injuries. I'm getting a little fed up with, I'm more in the Ange out camp than I've been for a while now.
One thing I have noticed about your Spurs team is they come to play against the good teams.
Yeah, but you can't.
They are bad against bad teams.
I mean, but here's the question. Do they really? Because they've only won 3 games on the road in the calendar year of 2024.
Well, they beat a good Aston Villa team. right?
I mean,
They lost to Crystal Palace. Now they
but
lost to
can
Ipswich.
we say that Villa's good when they're right there with Tottenham in the table? Like, if we're saying Tottenham is terrible and underperforming, and Villa is right there,
Yeah.
like,
They're still a good team. They're better than Ipswich Town.
okay,
You lost to Brighton.
yes,
I guess Brighton's a good team, but then you beat and then you crushed West Ham. Maybe it's an every other thing we got going on here with them.
I don't know. We
You
just feel
crushed
bad.
Man United 3-0.
We're personally trying to tighten the table for everybody but the top 4 teams.
Yeah, it's crazy what's going on with Spurs.
Yeah,
And to add insult to your injury that weekend, also your Nottingham Forest lost at home 3-1 to Newcastle. So
yeah, but you know what? I kind of expect, like, everybody's talking about Newcastle as they're a top 4 potential team, right? They came into the
they are
season.
not playing like they were last year.
They're not, but they are still a good team. They are still a team in the hunt for Europe. Forest came into the season. Everybody just assumed they'd eke through another relegation battle. I personally had them higher in the table than that, had them like 12th. But still, even if you set crazy expectations for Forest, they were a mid table side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Newcastle was in everybody's top 6. Like, some
Yeah,
people top 4. I think we both had them in the top 6,
yeah.
right? And so you're talking about a team that most people thought would be fighting relegation versus a top 6 team. And yeah, Newcastle showed up and beat them. It was the worst game defensively Forest has played all season.
Mm. Yeah, because they've been
And
pretty
they
stout on
didn't
defense.
capitalize on the chances they had, because Chris Wood had a couple of chances that probably should have gone in. There was a corner
Yeah,
shot that was close.
So get this. So Nottingham Forest has, before this game, has only given up 7 goals, 7
Yes.
in 10 match weeks. And then in one game, 3.
Right.
So
So
yeah.
it was a bad defensive showing.
Yeah.
And it's not like they gave up. See, that's what the difference is that I like seeing in Forest right now than Spurs, is that Spurs just look like they gave up. They got hit in the mouth and just quit. Right? Forest was up 1-0 and then lost the lead in the second half pretty quickly. I think Newcastle scored twice in 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And Forest was still trying to get equalizers late into like extra time and whatnot. So the hustle was still there. Sure, would it have been great to get a point out of a home game against Newcastle? Sure, but there's no denying that Newcastle is still the better side compared to Forest. That's probably, if I had told you before the season started that Newcastle went to Forest and beat Forest 3-1, would you be surprised?
No, I would have probably projected it.
Right.
Yeah.
So just because Forest for 10 games has been out of their mind in terms of point totals and standing in the table and whatnot, I don't think that changes the the feeling about the
And
outcome.
even with that loss, somehow Forest is right there in the middle of a race.
Well, everybody else is just not doing what they're supposed to do.
With 19 points, they're 5th in the table.
Yeah, still 5th.
Which is absolutely insane. So going over the table after what happened, obviously Liverpool's 5 points ahead. We talked about that.
By the way, it's all settled on goal differential because Chelsea, Arsenal,
there's a lot of
Forest,
19s. Yeah,
Brighton all have 19 points.
correct. And they're all like 1 goal.
The difference between the 4 of them are 4 goals because Chelsea's
Yeah.
+8, Arsenal's +6, Forest is +5, and Brighton's +4.
It's nuts. So it's going to be a fun little race for these spots, I think, which is cool.
Yes.
With some teams, and there could be a surprise team that could get in there, like Aston Villa was last year, which is always fun. But
If Man U turns it around, watch out because they've got players they can finish top 6 if they figure out how to be coached.
Yeah, they just need to score goals. Their goal differential is 0. That's not
Which
good.
is better than I thought it would be, to be honest.
Well, they just had a big week, so that's why they won 3-0.
Yeah.
So they're still only averaging 1 goal a match week scored. And that's with a 3-0 victory this last
it's not like
this last match week. So
better.
yeah, Forest is not scoring goals either.
They're 15 through 11 games. It's
but their defense, they've only given up 10.
Correct.
So that's what puts them in the 5th position over Brighton. Arsenal is in fourth, obviously, with that +6. Chelsea is in third, +8. And then Man City +9 to the good, 23 points, 5 points away from Liverpool. Interesting is that Brentford now is second in goals scored this season. They're tied for second.
Yes.
But Brentford is, like I said, we've been saying that for a couple weeks now, has really been a team to watch. Not to win, they're just fun to watch.
Yeah, G-Tech Stadium has the most amount of goals scored at it this season in the Premier League.
Yes. And going down to the bottom of the table now, that win puts Ipswich actually 1 point to the good of relegation.
Yep.
And everybody has a win now. Everybody has a win. The Wolves have a win.
Thanks to Tottenham.
The Wolves have a win. And Southampton with that -14 goal differential, which is crazy because if you look at the stats and the expected stats, they should be around 12th or 13th on the table. But here we are. That's the Premier League for you. When you lose games, you don't get points and you don't qualify to.
And Everton, who was looking good like 4 weeks ago,
they're back down to in trouble.
Back to the relegation battle.
Yeah, because if Crystal Palace and Everton play each other, then that could be could go right the other way. Because Crystal Palace is in that 18th spot, which I don't think is that deserved. But again, a big win by Ipswich and West Ham. West Ham is the most, obviously Man United, but we know what they did. They fired their coach. They have an interim coach for a few weeks or something, and it's weird. But West Ham, I think, is the most disappointing of all the teams this year.
Well, based on coming into the year's expectations, but based on the way they're playing
absolutely trash.
They are exactly where they're expected to be based on expected table.
Yeah, they're not playing good football at all.
By the way, Ipswich is expected to be last.
Correct. Yeah, Ipswich would be on the expected table to be last.
Leicester and Wolves somehow expected to be safe from relegation at this point.
The Wolves, I don't know how you could give up that many goals.
And somehow Tottenham is the most underperforming side because they're expected to be third, yet they rank 10th.
Yeah, well, Tottenham actually leads the league in goals with 23, I believe. So they're scoring goals.
Extra.
Yeah. Like I said, when they win, they win. But then when they lose, they lose.
I was talking to a buddy of mine that I want a stat that said that's basically titled goals needed, right? So like they beat Villa 4-1. Okay. Only needed 2. So those additional 2 are extra. I don't care. Right? They beat Everton 4-0. 3 extra goals because you knew Everton wasn't going to score one.
Mm-hmm.
They're racking up a whole lot of extra goals. So
when they lose, they're giving up a lot of goals too. They're losing by 2 or more.
Yeah, but their goal differential is +10, which is second best in the league, only behind Liverpool.
Yeah.
So defensively, it's not terrible. The problem is the goals come when they don't score, and when they do score, the other team doesn't score. Right. So it's like 4-0 Everton, or they beat Everton 4-0. They beat Villa 4-1. They beat someone else 3-1. Right. But then they lose. Like, I mean, it was 2-1 to Ipswich, but that was a gorgeous header by Bettencourt. But 3-2 Brighton, stuff like that. So when the other team scored, they don't, and vice versa. So it's the goal differential, and they're scoring all these goals and holding the ball. Okay, it doesn't matter because they're still.
It must be absolutely frustrating.
What?
It must be absolutely frustrating to watch.
Yeah, along with debating with the Spurs fans about whether the manager should go or not.
All right. Match week 12 is upon us.
Yes.
We have some good matchups. It's kind of a weak match week, I'm not going to lie. The return of Monday Night Football, which means we get a game at noon my time on Monday, which is fun, and that's going to be kind of a good one. Other than that, it's going to be a interesting week, to say the least.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a little creative on some of these bets.
Yeah, I think we take a little off this week because
A little bit.
it's going to be a wild week. I can see that already happening.
Also, it's Thanksgiving, so you really want to get super degenerate the week before Thanksgiving,
No, I don't.
or save it for after Thanksgiving when we all need
Yeah,
need to recover from spending time with family.
I am. The first matchup of the weekend is a doozy. Just kidding. It's Leicester at Chelsea. We talked about in the show already how well Chelsea has been playing lately and how they've used the same starting lineup, and the same starting lineup seems to have been meshing. I don't think this game is a contest, even though it's at King Power Stadium.
Yeah.
Again, some of these games we may not even bet on.
Faith in Steve Cooper to hold off the mighty Chelsea?
I don't.
No.
The best odds for Chelsea is minus 190. You can get up to plus 550 for Leicester. Draw coming in around 350, 370. Do you like the halftime, full time Chelsea at this at plus 130? That's kind of what I was looking at as
yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's the only one that I was looking at this morning.
Keep in mind, Chelsea's away form puts them third in the table. If you just put count points that they've earned away from Stamford Bridge, they'd be third in the table.
Yeah, they have that reverse splits thing going on.
Yeah, they scored 3 goals on the road, they've scored 12 goals on the road and allowed 5.
Yeah. So, and I mean, Leicester, they started off actually surprising, but they have really tailed off since. They're not in good form. Chelsea is. I think Chelsea halftime, Chelsea full time is where I would put that as my pick. And then, I mean, we could pick a goal scorer here. It didn't win for us last week, but I tell you, it should have. It should have. It should have. And that's what pisses me off because he had 2 wide open. One of them he missed, and the other one was offsides that he made the goal.
Yeah, he was offside by not that much either.
So I say we go back to the well at plus 150 for Nicholas Jackson in this one. If you want to, that would be my pick on goal scorer. He was definitely more involved.
Yeah, I mean, I can get Cole Palmer over an assist at plus 225. Over a half an assist, I should say. So if he gets an assist, it's plus 225.
How's his? Let's see here. Please hold. So his assists, Cole Palmer, he is third in the Premier League. He has 5. His expected assist is 2.41 with a difference of 1.83. So yeah, he has created 29 chances, which is also third. Man, I kind of like that now. I look at this with Cole Palmer. So he has 5 in 11 match weeks. We're going to match week 12. His expected assist is a little bit down, a little bit more. 2.41. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Put half.
So all right. We'll do that. We'll go. So if Cole Palmer assists Nicholas Jackson, we're golden.
Yep. All right. We just did 3 bets on one game on the first one. Okay, let's.
Yeah, right after going, we're not getting too degenerate. Let's go with Cole Palmer assists and halftime full-time bets.
Regardless, I think Chelsea wins this by 2 goals. There's going to be good goals scored, and if there are, most of the time, Nicholas Jackson and Cole Palmer are involved. Right. So there you go. All right. Arsenal hosting Nottingham Forest. I'll let you go away because you go ahead with this one since you are the Forest fan. Is there any hope for Forest in this game?
The odds tell you no because the best odds for Forest to win are plus 900.
Minus 300 for Arsenal to win.
Yeah, the draw is at plus 400 pretty well across the board.
Now, I'm looking at an interesting thing with Nottingham Forest recently. And they have been bet, or their odds for the totals in their games have been bet awfully low because they started off with 1-0 wins a lot,
Well,
or
their defense is
1-1 ties. But recently, either Nottingham Forest has been putting up goals, or the team that they're playing has been putting up goals. So looking at the over in this one, and an over of 2.5.
I mean, that's reasonable because if you look at going back to last game when they played Newcastle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Forest and Newcastle are the teams that are at the second, have allowed the second and third fewest goals in the Premier League, only behind Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They've also scored. They're towards the bottom in goals scored, and that includes Newcastle's 13. Like they have 13 now. That includes the 3 they put up against Forest. Forest had 14 coming into that game, and yet it was a 4-goal situation, right? Arsenal has similar stats to Newcastle in terms of goals for and goals allowed and whatnot. These two teams are very defensive minded teams. They are currently Nottingham Forest has allowed the second fewest goals in the league, only behind Liverpool. Arsenal has allowed the 5th, tied for the 4th fewest with 12. I kind of think it's going to be like a sneaky high scoring game for some reason. Like I don't know why, but it's just one of those. Everybody's coming back from the break.
Mm-hmm.
Try some little bit different things. Nottingham Forest is a different team than Arsenal played last year.
I mean, even the over 3.5 is at plus 200, or anywhere from plus 175 to plus 200 for 3.5. So Vegas is kind of telling you the same thing here, that it's going to be high scoring. Over 2.5, you get for minus 120.
I do think the Forest can get the draw.
Do you like the draw?
I don't know that I like it, but I do think the Forest can.
I don't know if I'd bet on it.
I don't know if I would bet any of the lines. I'm not going to bet Forest to win. They already went to Anfield. Could it happen? Sure. They went to Anfield and won for the first time in like 55 years.
Yeah.
Could they go to Emirates and knock off what appears to be a slightly struggling and befuddled Arsenal squad? Maybe. I don't know. But Odegaard is back, so that's going to make a change for them. That's going to help them out in the midfield quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense is still quite good. So I don't know. I'm hoping for a draw, but maybe we just take the total on this game and just say we're good there.
Yeah.
If it's a miss, it's a miss.
It is minus 120 for over 2.5.
It's not terrible. 3 games. There are 3 goals in the game.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. I truly feel that's going to happen. At least 2-1 is like the minimum. So let's just go with that. Moving on to a interesting matchup here. Aston Villa hosting Crystal Palace. Villa, I've been high on all year. My boy Ollie Watkins kept us going for like 4 weeks in a row. He's been ice cold lately. Correct. Villa is a favorite, but not by much. 165 to 170. You can get them
for a home team that's supposed to be that's in Champions League, playing a team that literally was
playing today. I think in Champions League
until 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
not a very. I mean, let's put it this way: Arsenal at home is minus 275 against Nottingham Forest, who is right near them in not only the actual table but the expected table. And yet, for some reason, Crystal Palace, Villa are shorter lines.
I don't know.
It's a weird. This is telling you this is going to be a weird game.
And the Ollie Watkins goal, they have finally priced correctly, plus 100.
All it took was him going ice cold and coming back from an international break to.
I get it at plus 125 actually, but yeah, I liked it better when it was plus 180 to 200 every weekend. We were hitting it. So yeah, I don't like this game.
I kind of like the draw at plus 320, to be honest.
if you like it at that, just put half. I don't like any part of this game. I'm not going to watch this game. Aston Villa has
Well,
just
I'm not going to
disappointed
watch it
me
because it's up
for
against
3 straight weeks, and I just can't do it anymore.
yeah, it's up against Forest, so I'm not watching this game.
Oh, there's a game going up against Forest I'll be watching.
But this also reminds me, like, if you're looking for what games actually got the TV,
well, if you have Peacock, you have.
I know, but like,
also Peacock has a goal zone.
yes,
it's similar to Red Zone.
It is. They focus more on one game,
but they show all the goals from the other
and
games.
then they keep cutting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. So if you don't have a rooting interest for any of the games of the 9,
which is me, but there's one game I will be watching on Peacock because I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, I'm just a little bummed that Arsenal Forest isn't on like USA, and instead it's the next one I think we're going to talk about. But
is it Bournemouth and Brighton?
It is.
Oh, ew.
Their game's on USA.
Ew. Now Bournemouth's been playing better lately. They gave it all they could against my Brentford team. They are favored.
Has your gear shown up yet?
Huh?
Has your Brentford gear showed up yet?
No, and I need to buy it still. I need to actually put my credit card in.
I haven't even put in the order. Okay.
Yeah, Bournemouth plus 135, kind of favorites at home. Brighton 195. Obviously, Brighton's way up in the table, but Brighton is one of those not reverse splits team. They are a splits team. They do play really well at home, not so much on the road. Bournemouth lately, though, they've really been playing well. And they've been scoring goals, which is something they didn't do in the beginning of the season. So I'm looking at this matchup, and I really like the draw on this one.
I'm kind of tempted for that too, even though it hasn't happened in the last 6 meetings between.
It hasn't, but the way the forms these two teams are in, I think Brighton's the better team. But they're away.
They've been mainly one-sided affairs in the last.
So this is actually my draw of the week.
This is your draw of the week.
This is my draw of the week, and that's the only bet I have on this game. This could be 0-0.
It could, or it could be like 3-3.
Yeah, correct. So that's why I have no other.
I don't think there's an in between either. Like I don't think we're getting
not.
Like
I like this as a draw. It is my favorite for the draw. Get it at plus 270. So this is my draw of the week.
Yeah, I would also say that it fits our tendency to take games that are close in
that are
in odds.
When both the odds of the teams are both plus.
Yeah, Bournemouth is plus 138 at home. Brighton is plus 200 on the road. It's not a huge difference.
No.
It's telling you that, they wanted to give it to Brighton, but the only reason they didn't was because it's on the road.
Mm-hmm.
That's got draw written all over it on the lines.
Definitely does. This next one also has draw written all over it. However, I'm not going that way on this one. Everton hosting Brentford.
You really think this has draw written all over it?
According to the odds, you got 2 plus teams. Everton's the home favorite at plus 150. Brentford's plus 200, and the draw is plus 250.
That's true. It's basically.
However, give me my bees. Give me my bees at plus 200, baby. Give me my bees at plus 200 to go in there and put Everton right back into the relegation battle where they belong.
Okay, so what are we looking at for a total here? Because I have some interesting.
Brentford's second in the league in scoring goals.
Right. So Brentford, there have been over 2.5 goals scored in 8 of Brentford's last 9 Premier League games. Right?
Which would be 8 of 11 match weeks. Yeah. Or 10 match. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There have been under 2.5 goals scored in Everton's last 5 Premier League games.
Yeah, but Everton's schedule.
Right. See, that's the thing I was getting at. Was Everton's schedule? They haven't played teams that are finding the goal.
Correct. At all.
What?
Oh, now I didn't even look at the total because I was so happy to pick my Brentford Bees. I didn't even look at the total in this game.
Let's see what the totals are.
Over 2.5, you could get it for minus 111.
Yeah, under 2.5 is plus 100. So
there's no way this is under 2.5.
no, I mean,
Unless Brentford wins 2-0, which could happen. Because when you go to like a game like this and you see the 2.5, the only way it's going to hit is if both teams score in a game like this.
yeah,
that's you can't depend on Brentford to score 3 goals and to hit the mark. Can Everton score a goal against Brentford? Yes. Brentford gave up 2 against Bournemouth 2 weeks ago.
yes.
So I like the over of 2.5
So
of this.
let's see. The last 5 Premier League games for Everton. They have played Newcastle,
who's not scoring
0-0.
goals.
They played Ipswich, which was 2-0 Everton. They played Fulham at Everton, which was 1-1. They played Southampton on the at Southampton, lost 1-0. And then they played West Ham at West Ham, and it was a 0-0 ugly draw that had no reason to watch it.
I mean, you could get over 2.5 for minus 110.
In terms of the under 2.5 hitting, it's mainly because they haven't played teams that can score.
Correct.
Like, I know Newcastle just hung 3 on Forest, but that's literally accounting for a quarter, more than.
I don't think Newcastle has had more than 2 goals than any one of their opponents this whole season until that.
Well, let's put it this way: Newcastle has 13 goals on the season, and 3 of them came against.
Correct. Forest. Yeah, so that is impossible.
They had 10 in 10 games.
Yeah. So, no, I'm with you. And West Ham's also been failing to score goals over the last few weeks.
So that stat has more to do with who they've played than the defensive stature of Everton, which.
And remember, this is the same Everton team that for the first 5 weeks of the season were the opposite. They were giving up 3 goals a game.
I mean, they gave up 4 to the Spurs, who now can't score. So
yeah, and they were up 2-0, and then gave up 4 to Villa.
They lost. They lost having been up 2-0 2 consecutive weeks, and were only the second Premier League team ever to do that. The only other one was Bournemouth.
So do we take I'm taking Brentford, but do you want to take the over 2.5 at minus 110? Pretty much.
I'll take the over 2.5, and we'll take Brentford. We're reading this the same way.
Okay, love it. Love my bees.
I don't know who's scoring. I don't know what's Bamo's.
He hasn't scored in a minute.
Yeah, Wissa though is plus 333.
That's it. That's an interesting one. Now with Mbeumo,
but Bamo is plus 230.
But most of his goals have come on penalty kicks this season.
Correct.
So that's kind of a thing you look out for. How many penalties has Everton given up? I don't think they've given up many actually. Obviously, when they have so many clean sheets. So I want to take him. I would just play those 2. It's up to you though. We know Brentford's going to score.
I put a half a unit on Wissa at plus 333.
I like it. Let's go Wissa.
But by the way, the top, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's at plus 220. That's the shortest odds you can find on any goal scorer in this game.
That makes sense.
It does.
Craven Cottage, the fortress of Fulham, hosting Wolverhampton, a team that cannot stop a goal from hitting the back of their net if they had to. Save it from dying.
I mean, they did last week, but
Okay.
One time.
Fulham. Only good at home. Only scores goals at home.
Minus 145.
But they're minus 145. When I first saw this, I was going to tell you, I was hoping this would be like one of those plus 100 moments that we could say, yes! But Vegas, 11 weeks in, going in the 12th week, are now as smart as we are. And I hate it.
Yeah, they figured it out.
Yeah. I hate this game. You're going to be hearing that a lot this week.
This is not one of the better match weeks. I know that everybody has to play each other twice, but why you got to give us all of these?
Imagine if this was the game that was on USA.
Yeah, my only complaint is that my team playing well isn't on USA. I mean, I can still watch it, but if this was the game, I'd really have serious questions.
Last season it was split. Craven Cottage 3-2, at Wolverhampton 2-1. I mean, I don't know what to tell you here. Everything matches up as equal, almost like a draw, but we know how good Fulham is at home. And except for the fact that Fulham has a 2.2 chances created per match, most of that being home, with a 1.55 for Wolves. Wolves actually finally got their first clean sheet of the season. Congratulations to them. The chance of them doing that 2 in a row at Craven Cottage, absolutely slim. So I think if you're looking to pick this one, where you have to lie is on the Fulham side of the ball is obviously we don't like taking the 160 for them to win on this one, but to win by 1, I think is the smartest pick. Fulham to win by 1.
You have Fulham to win by 1?
Yes.
Plus 275?
Yeah. And I would do half on that.
Yeah, that's probably true. This I know it's not great radio.
Fulham doesn't blow people out.
To just not be excited, but like these are a bunch of dud games to be.
No, it's like, funny radio because that game stinks. I don't want to see it.
I mean, it is, but watch, it'll be like a 6-5 shootout.
I know. I'll be switching it over to that.
But you know what? If it's 6-5 and we bet Fulham to win, I don't give it. Like, I'll take it. They win by 1, I still get paid.
All right. Let's just do that. Call it a day.
Okay.
Another interesting is to have Fulham to be up at half. Is just another interesting one. I also enjoyed.
They've waited till extra time in both of their last 2 games to score, so I'm just gonna take them to win by 1 and be fine.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on from that
on the pitch, and then goals are
stinker of a game. To the game of the week, which is also on Saturday. Man City.
Game of the week.
Man City hosting Tottenham, both coming off of losses. Both reeling at the moment.
I'm going to take this as my draw of the week.
I knew you were going to do that. Last year, this was a 3-3 draw in this same matchup. So I knew you were going to say draw of the week. I just knew it. So let's just give you that.
It's plus 380. Why Man City still? I get why they're favored to win at home, but minus 190.
Yeah, no,
that seems. Have you people seen how they're playing of late? Not well.
Yeah, but again, they do have the time off for Pep to figure some stuff out, and he is one of the best coaches of all time.
And Tottenham is reeling and not
he is the Bill Belichick of world football right now.
But I do think that there's a draw in here.
I agree.
I don't know that Man City's been like all that impressive.
Here's one that I want to put some little sprinkle on.
Okay.
It is crazy to me that this is how it is. In this game, over 2.5. 2.5. Minus 275. Under 2.5. Plus 228. I'm taking the under.
Well, okay, but
I'm taking the under.
Okay, so this is interesting. You bring that up, and I was like, well, there's been tons of goals in these games.
I look at recent form from both teams. Man City is not having trouble scoring a goal.
Correct.
And
if it's not coming from Holland, I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah. So obviously, when you look at it and you like it as a draw, getting a 3-3 draw is almost crazy. 2-2 is crazy, but 1-1 is completely plausible.
I could totally see Holland getting a goal because the center backs fall asleep and forget their Tottenham's replacement center backs.
Yeah,
forget they're covering Erling Haaland, and he gets a goal.
Shoot, you can get under 3.5 for minus 105.
That's intriguing. Because then even if it's not a draw, right? If there's 3 goals scored, their boy not making it a draw, you still get a little hedge.
Yeah, I don't know why. When I was looking at this game this morning, I don't know why Vegas has this so high when neither of these teams are at the best form or scoring goals at the moment. I think it's going to be a hard-fought, battle-tested game between the two to just try to get a win. Because that's what they both just need a win. They don't need to blow anybody out. They need a win. Both teams really need a win.
Correct.
It's going to be defensively. I know
drew their first game of the season and then hasn't drawn since.
I hate this. I hate this term, but they're due.
They're due. Something's got to give. They can't just keep winning and.
I'm now on the under 3.5 at -105. Like, that is dumb to me. That is under 3.5 at -105 to me is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'll go draw, and then for a little bit of a hedge, we'll take the under 3.5 goals.
Okay, that works for me.
And as for who's scoring, I mean, I'm sure Haaland is like minus money to score.
It's going to be a fun game to watch. But
it should be, because both teams need it. Both teams are
exactly, and that's why I think it's going to be one of those tight, like really tight games, like on the edge of a knife, like the whole freaking time. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in it. I really don't. And then we move on to Sunday, and the Sunday matchups are what we like to call in the industry Poupe. Southampton.
Honestly, I thought Liverpool would be favored by more in this game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Minus 335 does not seem like low enough odds to keep me from betting this.
They're going on the road to St. Mary's Stadium. Southampton, they're in currently the worst team in the Premier League, according to points. However, their stats say they are better. Liverpool got through the injury bug over the week without anyone else getting hurt. Trent Alexander-Arnold probably will not play. Alisson is still out, but it hasn't mattered because apparently Kelleher is the number 2 best goalkeeper in the world.
I mean, that guy's looked really good.
He will not be on the team next year. Let's put it that way. He'll be starting for another Premier League team. But
haven't you guys already signed another goalie to come in next year?
Yeah, but Kelleher's great.
Right, I know. Yeah. I'm just saying. So you don't
it's still Alisson. Yeah, it's still Alisson. But yeah, Alisson has been actually had a little bit of an injury history now each season for the last couple of years. It's kind of worrisome. Yeah. So it's good to have that backup goalkeeper. Liverpool to win by 2 is where I'm at here.
Liverpool to win by 2?
Yeah.
Plus 333.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's the smartest. Now, if they win by 1 or win by 3, we're screwed. But
Salah's minus 110 for an anytime goal.
Nah, not doing that.
Jota's plus 145.
Oh, I forgot that Jota will be back from injury.
Yes. Darwin Nunez, Chaos Maker, is plus 155.
What's the odds he hits the goalpost? That's a bet I'll take. Before I bet on him ever to score a goal. And there's a lot of truth into that. He led the Premier League last year in the amount of times hitting the goalpost.
For hitting the woodwork?
And he won that stat by 3.
Yeah. Diaz is plus 190 for an anytime goal. Gakpo plus 205.
Let me see if there's any alternative markets here we can hit, because
heck, Curtis Jones. We could take a Curtis Jones anytime goal for plus 400.
He's been really good.
I know, that's why I bring it up.
Yeah.
A corner, man, you just find him in the middle and Szoboszlai is plus
dude, Liverpool over. Yeah, it's just there's not a good pick here except for just let Liverpool to win by 2 because that seems about right to me.
Yeah.
The over 2.5 is high. The over 3.5 is at plus 110. So the under 3.5 is
total corners
there. So they think so. According to Vegas, there's 3 goals in it. Which I don't know how Southampton is going to score a goal in this game, and I'm sure clean sheet for Liverpool is negative, is minus. So
I would assume so. Let me see.
The only thing I like is winning margin. You could even ladder it if you wanted to. put 5 on to win by 1 goal, 5 more to win by 2 goals, and then 5 more to win by 3 goals. I guess that doesn't really work if you did the 1 goal. But the 1 goal is plus 300, but 2 goals is plus 333.
Let's see. Both
teams.
That's
odd to me.
Both teams to score. Well, that's weird. Both teams to score no is minus 102 and yes is minus 120.
Because they don't think that yes is minus 120?
Yes is minus 120 and no is minus 102.
How is Southampton going to get a goal in this game?
In warm-ups?
Yeah, right? Like I don't get this. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't understand it either, to be honest.
I mean, I'm taking the
Liverpool no clean sheet is minus 138. They really think Southampton's going to score against Liverpool.
Liverpool is the best defense in the league. Southampton
is one of the
worst offenses in the league. But again, their stats tell them different.
They get chances. They just don't. They're just not. The possession's misleading because they possess it so far
Correct,
back.
but they've only scored 7 goals this season.
Yeah, they've scored as many as Liverpool's allowed.
That's last. They literally have scored the least amount of goals.
And they're facing the best defense in the league.
And they've allowed 21, which is 4th.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either. Okay.
This is a weird hill to die on, Vegas. Southampton is scoring against Liverpool.
All right. We have to put money on it. Dang it. Do it.
What?
Because we got 2 more games. No, both teams not to score. Or whatever the Liverpool clean sheet is. I want Liverpool clean sheet.
I don't see a Liverpool clean sheet. I see no at minus 138, and I see Southampton no at minus 2,000.
So Liverpool's going to score. All right, Liverpool to win by 2, and both teams not to score minus 102 or whatever it is.
Yeah, both teams to score no would be minus 102.
Yeah.
We're getting even money on a clean sheet for Liverpool?
Or if Southampton wins 1-0, we still get a win.
That's true. Counterintuitive betting.
All right, moving on. Oh, Jesus, man.
But I'm also not going to be able to talk to you next week if Liverpool's lost 1-0 to Southampton and Forest in the same season.
Yeah, no, I will be having a terrible Thanksgiving.
Ipswich Man U.
Yeah.
No. I don't know what to make of this game.
I don't either. I do think that the odds for Man U are odd. That they're only a minus 155 favorite. And Ipswich did just come off a big win, but again,
I kind of want to take the show draw.
Hey, we already had a draw earlier. No, I'm not taking the show draw on this one.
No.
Okay.
And how about we sit this one out because we don't know what the hell Ruben Amorim is going to do in his first game.
Yeah. Let's sit this one out. It could go either way.
Because it could go like 4-0 Man U, or it could go like they don't score because they're learning a new
average goals scored per match. They're equal.
Yeah.
Chances created per match. Ipswich is 1.82, Man U 2.45. But however, that doesn't tell the story of the way splits. Although actually, Man U is reverse splits. They're actually terrible at home.
Yes.
So, yeah. This will be our skipped game of the week.
Like it.
I will not be watching that one either. That is a must not watch. The last game, Monday night. Here comes Monday night. Woo! Newcastle to West Ham. Now, this is a good one because these are 2 teams that we both predicted would be better than they're playing. West Ham needs a win bad. Newcastle needs a win bad. Newcastle is favored there at home minus 200. West Ham plus 500. So they're saying Newcastle is going to whoop it like it's hot. You get the draw at plus 350 in this one. I kind of like
the draw here.
Sprinkling half a unit on West Ham to win this game at plus 500. They need a win.
Yes.
They also have reverse splits. And I think...
Yeah, they don't like London Stadium very much.
Yes. And I just think they can squeak one out here to kind of help their season. And when you get them at plus 500, they're playing Newcastle, who's not in the best form either. This isn't Man City. This isn't Arsenal. This isn't Chelsea. This isn't Liverpool. They're getting plus 500 at Newcastle.
Right.
Now,
I know
it's a long trip up north. I get it. It's like a 3-hour drive. But
we talk about the entire Premier League plays in the distance between Boston and DC.
Yeah, I know.
Boston and Charlotte, something like that.
But Newcastle is the highest
800 miles.
It's the highest north. Newcastle is the highest north.
Yes. I think Brighton to Newcastle is the longest.
Is the longest, yes, correct.
Is the longest trip in the Premier League. And it's like 800 miles.
Yeah. It's crazy.
If that.
So I think West Ham sneaks this one out. And I'd be willing, just because it's plus 500. These are odds you would get if West Ham was playing a team in better form, and they're not. So I think it's just the odds are wrong, and I'd just want to take advantage of the plus 500.
Okay, so let's sprinkle a half a unit on West Ham to win and a half a unit on draw.
What's the draw? 380?
360.
360? Okay. And by the way, Vegas also expects a lot of goals in this one because the split is at actually 3.5 2. So the over 3.5.
I would say these two are capable of playing wide open.
Yeah.
It's not like up and down soccer. So.
Okay, I will do that. Either way, it's a win. But I think West Ham sneaks this one out. Going back to their history against each other. By the way, recent form. Oh, jeez. Newcastle 4, West Ham 3. West Ham 2, Newcastle 2. West Ham 1, Newcastle 5. Dude, West Ham has not won this match in a minute. So I get it. But, this at least 4 goals scored in the last 3 games. Total in the last 3 games. 17 goals in 3 games between the two teams the last 3 times they played. 17 goals between 2 teams in 3 games.
That's a lot of goals a game.
that is crazy.
Although in fairness, 9 of them were scored by Newcastle in 2 games. So
fair. But why am I putting West Ham on there? Because I believe. Slap that sign, Ted Lasso. I believe. There is some data behind it as well.
I mean, Newcastle at home ranks 5th in the ranks 9th. If you just look at home fixtures.
Yeah, right in the middle of the table.
Newcastle ranks 9th in terms of home form. West Ham is like 12th in away form. So they're pretty close in this particular situation.
And it's just their stats are really even. So I do like the draw. Like the draw would be my second pick, but I just had a little bit of edge to West Ham just from having Jared Bowen on their team because he's awesome. Which, by the way, what's a Jared Bowen goal in this one?
What's a Jared Bowen goal? Oh, at any time?
Yeah. Because he would be my pick if we had to.
That's an excellent.
And plus, after this, West Ham has Arsenal. They have a tough schedule after this. So this is a game they have to win.
Correct. Let's see. Jared Bowen is plus 375.
For a goal?
For any time goal, yes.
Is he not playing?
What is up with my camera?
Is he hurt? What's happening here?
I don't know. My camera's going super blurry.
It's okay. People are on audio too.
I know, but it's annoying me because I'm looking at myself and going cross-eyed just looking at myself, blurry. That makes sense. Hey, there it goes.
There it goes. Let's go, Jared. Let's go half unit on a Bowen goal too.
Isak is plus 110 for an anytime goal.
And Jared Bowen just did score a goal for England, by the way,
Correct.
this last weekend. So let's go, Jared Bowen anytime goal, half unit on that as well. Because then we could get, what if we get West Ham wins and Jared Bowen goal, or a draw and Jared Bowen goal, or a draw, huh?
Big money. Papa needs a new turkey for Thanksgiving.
Papa needs a 15-pounder, baby. Let's go. That's right. But that's my pick. That was could be my shocker pick was West Ham to win, but I like also backing it up with the draw as well and put Bowen on the board as well. So goal scorers, we have Nicholas Jackson and Jared Bowen, and then you take another one too. Oh, Wissa, right? For Brentford.
Yes.
Okay, so we got 3 goal scorers this week. We got a couple
totals. We took an assist from Cole Palmer.
Oh yeah, we took the assist from Cole Palmer. So we have 4 of those.
A goal from Nico Jackson.
Yeah, I got that one. So we have 4. We have 4 goals. No, 3 goal scorers, 1 assist. And a couple totals and a lot of straight ups. That's how a lot of straight ups.
Yeah.
A lot of straight ups for the draw or the win this week because of the way the lines match up. So
yes.
Looking good in the neighborhood, everybody. Good luck this week. Have fun watching the games. If you are stuck watching, and I mean stuck,
get Peacock. It'll help you out.
Watching, what's the game of the week again? Oh, Bournemouth and Brighton on USA. Go ahead and just get a free trial of Peacock and enjoy the weekend because there is also at that same time you could be watching Aston Villa Crystal Palace, Arsenal Nottingham Forest, Everton Brentford, which is the game I'll be watching, and Fulham Wolves, which should be a very interesting matchup as well.
Should be.
Yeah. So enjoy your Thanksgiving. I think we're going to try to get one in before Thanksgiving next week. I'm a little freer, so maybe we could do one a little earlier. I don't know how many Lions will be out, but we could probably knock it out on Tuesday next week. I think we'll be good there and have it out before Thanksgiving. Because man, Thanksgiving. Have you seen the matchups for Thanksgiving?
I have not, but I am checking now. You have peaked.
It is going to be a doozy of a Thanksgiving matchup.
So let's see. We got Brighton Southampton.
Yep.
On Friday, so Black Friday.
Yep.
Brentford Leicester's okay. Crystal Palace Newcastle okay. Oh, good. My daughter and I are at odds again because we got Forest Ipswich playing each other.
When you get to the doozy, you'll know it.
Yeah, there's a couple of doozies.
There are. Chelsea at Aston Villa is going to be a fun open game.
Correct.
A lot of goals we scored there, and we got the big one.
It's probably going to be open to.
If Liverpool at Anfield beat Man City, that's the league.
Yeah, and then we get to start figuring out how we're covering midweek matches because then they start.
Yeah, we'll just have to say what happened and then have less.
We get the Tuesday, Wednesday games.
Yeah, we'll just have to do those.
Yeah, there's a lot of soccer between now and Boxing Day.
Yep, lots and lots. It'll be a lot of fun. So we got more coming. Again, we'll record earlier next week, and then we'll try to get some. Maybe we'll do some short hitters just on the games for the day before for like 20 minutes. We'll figure it out over Thanksgiving break. All right, my Keepin' It EPL folks, everyone out there, Matthew Selz, myself, Edward Raus. Enjoy your football weekend, and we'll see you next week before Turkey Day. Gobble, gobble.